From the Fox Studios in downtown Panama City, it's News View with Lee Sullivan.
Let's talk about your endangered freedoms, news and views with an attitude.
Good evening. It's News View. I'm Lee Sullivan. Thank you for allowing me in, visiting with syndicated columnist and talk show host and Fox News View contributor, most importantly of all, Ron Hart. Taking some time out for us after Christmas. I hope you had a great one.
Yeah, it was terrific. It's terrific. It's nice to be in the studios, not be sweating.
It's just, yeah.
First time,
listen, that's only because of the ambient temperature.
Yeah, room temperature for the first time here is room temperature. First time you've ever gotten it there. It's usually very warm in here.
It's
33 degrees outside.
The air conditioner people just suck. I swear they do. And I'd call them out if I knew what the name of the company was.
Yeah, I know. Listen away. It's like a sauna and talking.
Okay. Speaking of temperature, WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks.
Yeah.
It sounds like something a group of guys would make up.
Sounds like an incontinent Don Ho. Not sure where that came from.
What about all of that?
It's nuts. I mean, I wrote a column about it a few weeks ago. I am torn on it. The big concept is, because I really believe the more we know about our government, the better. It doesn't matter in that regard. This Julian Assange is kind of a creep. So you got a creepy guy with probably what is a good message. The problem that he has is he's left wing, so he's agenda driven. He's leaking things to hurt the U.S. He's leaking things to hurt the Republicans, and he's pretty much agenda driven. It's so much so that actually that there's a group that left his outfit, and they're going to start Open Leaks, which is another rival organization, less politically inclined. And when they left, Assange said to them, "Look, guys, you better not steal any secrets. Take anything with you." God knows
you don't steal the secrets I've stolen.
That's right. If you can't trust someone like that, who can you trust?
I mean, but Ron, how does somebody like that get? I mean, where do you find that?
Well, the trouble thing is Bradley Manning was a low-level military operative who gave him the information. Supposedly he was gay and he was mad about Don't Ask, Don't Tell at the time, and gave this information. And I'm not making this up. He downloaded the information on an old Lady Gaga CD that he had. He went in there, got this information, downloaded it from the computers. I don't know how he has that clearance at a high level like that. But anyway, he was able to get secrets. They were looked over by the WikiLeaks people, and they were released. I mean, things like bad things about BP and Guantanamo Bay. And don't be besmirching the good name of BP. You know, in that net, I think the United States looked pretty good. I mean, I like my government having certain secrets. I like my government with the ability to kind of kill a foreign leader like, Osama bin Laden if they have to. I don't want to know about it. I like the ability. I like to know they're trying. At least imagine how many lives could have been saved if Clinton had gotten Osama bin Laden when he had shot. So, I mean, I like that notion, but most of the comments, and I read some of them, I made a list of some of the less publicized ones, but they were kind of snarky comments about someone's wife, Prime Minister of France's wife, or that Putin is really running the country, and he's just the current president's a puppet. We all knew that. I mean, Kim Jong-il is a nutcase. We knew that.
Right.
His son's going to take over. He's a nutcase. So we all knew these things. America came out looking pretty good. Net, but Judge Brandeis, who's from Louisville, Kentucky, great Supreme Court justice, said one time that sunshine is the best disinfectant. I think to some degree government, which I perpetually distrust, as probably you do too.
Right.
The more we know about them, the better. So I'm torn on the subject.
Right. Well, see, I differentiate government from CIA killing people, poisoning the Queen of England, the things just things had to be done. Some people have to be taken out.
Right.
But this guy, this guy,
Julian Assange.
Assange. He's just, is he in jail now, or is he held captive in a whorehouse, or what's wrong?
Well, Michael Moore apparently posted bail for him. That tells you a little bit about his ideological leanings. He is on a 600-acre estate right now in England, currently waiting trial. So that'll teach him, out there like that. But He should do pretty well. I mean, you know, when the judge, it was a funny thing, a couple funny things happened. The judge, no one knows where he lives. He's very nefarious. He's moving country to country. He don't get killed, of course. But the judge asked him where he lived. He wouldn't tell him. And I'm thinking, you know, okay, just say, look, some things are meant to be secret.
Right.
You don't have the right
Really?
to privacy.
Really?
The irony of that is kind
That
of
is sort of overwhelming, isn't it?
Exactly.
I'm not telling you.
I'm not telling you. Don't ask, don't tell. But yeah, I mean, he's a creepy guy, pasty-faced. He's got some rape charges or some sort of odd charges in Sweden against him, having sex without a condom or something, which apparently is a national crime over there.
Right.
He's probably
Unless you're homosexual.
I guess so. I don't know. But these women apparently have taken
The
issue
Pope
with
said
it.
So I know it's true, Ron.
Was
The
it?
Pope said it was okay for
Yeah.
homosexuals to use condoms, but heterosexuals shouldn't.
Really? Well, that's good. He's really come a long way. On that
Wait,
thing.
I think we've, you know, actually, I think we have. And speaking of coming a long way, the Big O,
Wow.
yeah, he gets off to Hawaii. What's that? His birthplace? Is that why he goes back there?
Kenya?
So,
Kenya? Where'd he go?
Kenya.
Oh, no,
Oh.
no, sorry. Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes to Hawaii on vacation. He needed a vacation. It's been a while. He flew over there, never losing controversy. The PETA apparently was protesting him when he got off the plane. Hawaii has the most lax animal cruelty laws in the country. So there's a huge PETA group there protesting against him. They have bad laws, but ironically, they have the best barbecue in the country. So
You can't fight
toward
that
animals,
logic,
yeah.
can you?
Now, you know, everywhere he goes, I mean, I think the don't ask, don't tell thing was interesting because he'd been kind of pushed by Code Pink and all these liberal organizations that he'd not done enough for the left. He'd been there for 2 years and not done don't ask, don't tell. Pelosi says we have to get it done. Of course, you had 2 years to get it done. So you got this lame duck session where they try that and the DREAM Act, these other things that are kind of questionable. That was just a shout out trying to get the Hispanic vote to focus on the Democrats.
Right.
Hey, we tried, you know. But don't ask, don't tell. I'm a libertarian. I really don't care. I mean, if you're willing to put your life on the line for your country, you can have a Tony party, you know, an Oscar party. I mean, I don't care. You served, I didn't. My last uniform service was Weeblos. I mean, I'm not a military guy. But my notion is, I mean, it'd be hard. You know, and I'm sure if, on Weeblos whether I quit. I'm not sure if I quit or they ask me to leave. I don't do well with structure. That's kind of my problem.
Well, listen, let me tell you, here's the headline. Here's the headline in the Panama City News Herald.
Yes, sir.
Now, homosexuals, I think they like to call them gays, but anyway, now homosexuals can join the service and they don't have to look over their shoulder. Everybody else does, but they're okay.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it overturned the 1993 Bill Clinton law. That's the other thing. Thank goodness a Republican didn't do it. You know, the greatest Democrat president of all time, Clinton, did it. So that's kind of how they had a hard time with that one. But look, if someone's a flamer and they're really out there, first of all, those type guys don't serve in the military, and certainly on the ground troops. There may be some interpreters here. They don't tend to gravitate toward the military. First of all, they don't like the drab gray. It doesn't look good on them. They do love parades. I mean, they're probably torn. But no, they don't gravitate that way. And if you're a flamer, you don't have to ask because you can tell if they are. But I think it's mostly about the lesbians, honestly. I mean, a lot of women who are kind of butch gravitate toward the military. I'm sure it's a disproportionate amount of women who end up in the military who are lesbians, and they serve their country honorably in many cases. I mean,
well, I think the thing about it that's most disappointing is the manner in which it was handled from start to finish.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. They're scared of the issue.
I just don't think that, you know. I mean, if it is what it is, it is what it is, and most of the homosexuals I know, you wouldn't be able to discern that. The ones that you could tell right away are the ones that have that affected action and that affected speech, and you know, and so they're sort of, and they don't want to be in the army.
Right. The last place they want to be. Exactly.
They don't want to be in the army.
But the notion, you know, again, honorable people serve the country. Macho men tend to be in the Marines and in the Army. They're very strong men. Some of them are homophobic just because that's what they are. Some of them have biblical beliefs against it. Everybody comes about their opinion in different ways, right? I can see being in a situation with showers and et cetera. I say it should be at the control of the commander. Whoever commands the unit can make a decision about whether that person is additive to the group or detracts from the group.
Right.
And if on balance you're negative, you're out of there.
Right.
Remember Corporal Klinger?
Yes.
He used to get out of the Army.
Yeah, right.
You can't do that anymore. My
Married a
dad
goat.
said-
Yeah.
My dad was a drill
My
sergeant.
first wife was a goat.
My dad was a drill sergeant in Paris Island. I told you, Marine, a good Marine. He said, a lot of times that's the way they want it out. If you want it out,
Right.
you just claim yourself gay, and they'd pretty much send you home if you wanted to get
Well,
out
you
that
see,
way.
see, I told you about the time that the guy had to take it. He was exposed to a test to prove that was.
He was gay?
Yeah.
Well, they show him like pictures of Lady Gaga and Cher, and they see how he reacted.
No, I mean, there we are, about 90 of us with our pants down around our ankles.
Yeah.
So,
He tempted him. I think it's a misconception that somehow a gay person jumps heterosexual guys in the shower. I have no evidence that has ever happened. I'm sure it has somewhere. That's not the nature. If you're a macho guy and you're afraid a gay guy's going to jump you, you got bigger issues. If you can't fend off a gay, look. My view is God made these people that way. I think you're born gay. I think there's certain things in your body that make you gay. At an early age, you play with dolls. You don't play with trucks. Go through the line. You can't throw a spiral. There's a lot of indications whether you're gay. And if you're Christian,
you sat down to go to the bathroom.
there are a lot of issues. I mean, you got Dorothy dolls. You gravitate to certain characters. You like show tunes. You can be a derivative you want to be.
Oh Lord!
But I believe you're born that way. And if you're born that way and you're made that way by God, I don't see why we need to spend our life persecuting someone like that. If we're going to have open and equal laws, both for the African Americans, the civil rights, and gays right now, and in this situation. Look, if you're willing to serve and you're additive and you're good and you're willing to die for your country, you can have an Oscar party. I don't care. I mean, I'm not, again, having not served, I don't know, but that's my opinion.
Ron Hart will be right back. Because I can't watch Dancing with the Stars, I don't want to see a bunch of weirdos and.
Maybe audiences here.
Yeah, well, Newsview, visiting with Ron Hart. We're talking about the Palins. Bristol, is the daughter's name, and she didn't win Dancing with the Stars. Everybody that told me said that she couldn't dance her way out of a wet paper bag, but the reason they all voted for her is because of her mommy.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, if you know anything about the Palin women, when they lose something, they go away quietly, right?
Yeah, not quite.
We'll never hear from her again.
Yeah, not quite.
Yeah, that's what we know about the Palin women. No, I mean, look, it's an odd show. It's amazingly popular. A lot of things that probably you and I don't watch.
Well, I mean, her mama out there killing grizzly bears and eating raw fish apparently that's pretty popular.
It's hit a chord with people. I mean, she was on TV recently. It's very rarely that you see someone shoot a reindeer right before Christmas.
Right.
It's not the most popular thing to do. I love the dynamic because the left, they've never hunted. They don't understand the outdoors, and they think they're environmentalists. They don't understand conservation and all the things that go on in the real outdoors. They go to a cocktail party. They put a sticker on the back of their Prius, and all of a sudden they're the greatest people in the world.
Right.
Living in the woods, hunters and fishermen are probably your only genuine people that care about the environment because it sustains them in many ways. So the notion that Sarah Palin's somehow awful for shooting an elk, she gets criticized by Aaron Sorkin, who's got alligator shoes on. I mean, it's an interesting juxtapose of Hollywood versus the real world. But I watched this Palin show, Sharon Palin's Alaska. I mean, it sucks you in a pretty good bit. I mean, it's interesting. And what my observations are is that I don't want to be president. I don't think she's smart enough to be president. I think she has a role to play, but wouldn't be my vote for president. It's not my type of person. But she's very blue collar, very hardworking. This guy, Todd Palin's a great guy.
Yeah.
She's struggling to raise a family like everybody else in America is. I mean, her kids are that. This is Willow girl is kind of a brooding little teenager. Right. Bristol had her issues, and Trigg and all these kids' names. It's not like if you heard the kids' names, Willow and Trigg, you think she's a hippie in some commune somewhere. But it turns out she's very conservative, very down to earth, and she struggles with things. And she's a hard worker. I mean, she goes out and does things, and it's high energy.
Well, I think
she's compelling to a lot of Americans.
I think one of the things that people are attracted to her because she comes across as real.
Yeah.
When we come back, I want to talk to you about the Man of Steel. Michael Steele, the chairman of the Republican Party, and how great that's been, and how great would it be if he got reelected. Ron Hart, we'll be right back. Welcome back. It's News View. I'm visiting with Ron Hart. He is a syndicated columnist and talk show participant, both TV and radio, and Fox News View contributor. Michael Steele, El Presidente of the GOP. He's the chairman of the GOP, got there last year, and he says he's going to do it again. Do you think that's good for the Republicans?
Well, he was kind of an answer to Obama. He's also a exhibition showing that Republicans do have one black friend.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But he was.
It was sort of patently come across like that too.
He's a pretty sharp guy. I mean, if you listen to him, he certainly has the ideology of a Republican. He believes in what he's saying. He's a pretty good spokesman for the party. But look, African Americans are 12-13% of the vote. 99.97 are going to vote for Obama, and the small percent are going to pull the wrong lever by mistake. I mean, they're all going for Obama, so it's a done deal. I think his usefulness to the Republican Party is probably mitigated by that. The fundamental problem, aside from race, and race colors everything that happens in America, unfortunately, is that he spent $2,000 taking donors to this bondage club in L.A., a strip joint, where But the Republicans forgave him because the lesbians there, they were not, they were just beating each other up. They weren't trying to get married or anything like that. So it was okay with the Republicans. But the idea that he's not really good with money, and that people see things like that and they don't donate to the GOP Republican National Committee because he's there, and if they're flying around, spend $2,000 a night, if you're getting ready to write that check to the RNC, you rethink it. And with the Tea Party, there's been a chasm in the Republican Party. It's split into factions now. I mean, I'm in the Libertarian wing of the Republican Party. Ron Paul and Rand Paul, the rest of us over there, Jeff Flake, and we're a small factor within the Republican Party. But the Tea Party is kind of broken off, and you saw this budget bill recently. It was caused because the Tea Party put pressure on not the Democrats, because they don't listen to them, but the Republicans, who kind of manned up, as they said, and finally did something about the budget by not allowing this Obamulus bill to come through the way it did. And I thought that was very good for American people. It shows the system is working, actually, for the first time. Republicans and Democrats, sometimes I worry the ideology, rhinos, and Democrats get in there. Ideology doesn't matter. It's not a fight for ideology. It's a fight for who can run the country for a while, who gets to fly in Air Force One.
Right, and do a good job of it for a change.
Unfortunately, unless there's pressure on them, they don't do the right thing. And I think this Tea Party thing has been net good.
Okay, Ron Hart, we'll be right back. Welcome back to News View. I'm visiting with Ron Hart. We'll finish up tonight by this. The Senate passed the START nuclear arms treaty with Russia, and I can't find a bottom to that hole. I don't see. I mean, I just don't see what the value is of having a treaty with Russia.
I was surprised. A lot of conservative senators voted for it. Bob Corker in Tennessee, who I know and respect, voted for it. Johnny Isakson and Saxby Chambliss from Georgia voted for it. So I was surprised. I don't pretend to know much about, the START Treaty and international relations. Again, having just been a weeblo and everything, I didn't have a high level.
Well, you would, if you were a corporal in the Marine Corps, you wouldn't know any more either.
But the Russians are inherently distrustful. I don't know if it's just a headline. I know Hillary Clinton drafted it. It was kind of her seminal piece of work that would help her a little bit, and maybe they just did it to help her. I love what Reagan said. Trust but verify. And the perestroika. I mean, I like the notion of doing that. I don't know if Obama has the backbone to do that. Maybe the idea is Russia is an enemy of China, and then maybe if Russia blows up China, they'll forgive our debt. Maybe that's the idea. I don't know. But there must have been some thought into it.
Not a bad plan, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, I always presume the government knows more than it does know. When they invaded Iraq, I was against it kind of. I said, well, maybe they know something that I don't know. I give them benefit of the doubt. They got CIA, they got intelligence. Turns out I always overestimate their intelligence. So everything's politically driven. Russia's completely corrupt. I mean, Putin just arrested, again, this oil baron. It's just a shakedown. Something Obama would like to do to entrepreneurs in our country. If you make some money and the government doesn't have their hands on it and they got the power of the police, they arrest you. And that's the way it is in Russia. I mean, right now, this guy gets arrested again for various crimes. Same thing in Iran. with the Ahmadinejad. Basically, they charged somebody recently with crimes against God. This Muslim country. This guy committed crimes against God. So I guess God will witness against. I mean, it gets crazy. So I think the more we see of other countries, the more we value the rule of law in America. The fair, you're a law officer. You try to fundamentally be fair. There's lawyers there to keep you fair. There's judges and juries to keep everything fair. There's a sense of decency in the world, and it's not. We take it for granted in America, and it doesn't. It's not always, in other countries like we think it is. And Russia is one of those countries. Hopefully, they'll evolve.
Well, it certainly isn't a theocracy.
No, it's not a theocracy for sure. It's the thugocracy.
Yeah.
And whoever's got the guns has the power.
Right.
That's the way it works out.
I find no wisdom in that, but I mean, that's just a general uneducated.
But 80 senators voted for it. I keep thinking there's something there, unless it was just a deal they cut with Obama to keep the tax rates the same. I can't imagine them. They made a backroom deal that, look, Obama's going to cave on tax rates, keep them at the Bush era levels, and we're going to cave on START. That may be it.
Ron Hart, remember, those are my views. What are yours?